the Bruins might be in on Connor McDavid, at least according to some experts. Bleacher Report did their top 7 landing spots for Connor McDavid if he does become a UFA in 2026. Typically, that deal would get done this summer so that McDavid does not hit the open market. If he does, he'll probably be the greatest player ever to hit the open market. So he could at least be the GOAT in that department. But here is the write-up on why Connor McDavid could be a Boston Bruin. I'll be honest with you guys. It's 7 out of 7 teams. When it comes to those potential landing spots for Connor McDavid, the Bruins are listed 7th. Here's the write-up from Bleacher Report. Even though they've rapidly arrived at the NHL's mushy middle of mediocrity, try saying that 5 times fast, the Bruins do not seem prepared to start rebuilding or tearing things down. To be more than what they were this past season and more than what their roster figures to look like this upcoming season, they'll need a game-changing number 1 center. Stop me if you've heard that one before. That has been their biggest need since Patrice Bergeron and David Krejci retired, and the likes of Casey Middlestat, Pavel Zacha, and Elias Lindholm are not going to satisfy it. McDavid would satisfy that. The Bruins are at a big market and are an original 6 franchise that still has eyes on winning. That could potentially be appealing to McDavid. That last paragraph kind of says it. Why are the Bruins a player for Connor McDavid? They've been around a while. They're a big market team. People recognize that logo. They used to care about winning. That's why. That's why they'd be in on Connor McDavid. Yeah. I think that's about the best reason that the Bruins would be in on Connor McDavid. It was because they were founded 100 years ago. Other than that, I don't think they have a shot in hell. I mean, seriously, this team hasn't signed anything close to a premier free agent, market premier free agent in 20 years, okay? Since Zdeno Chara in 2006. That's been a long, long time. Okay, David Backes, Matt Bolesky, okay, Elias Lindholm. Like, these are not top value guys. And certainly Connor McDavid would fit into that top of the market kind of guys. The other teams they have, Chicago, basically the same reason. They have a young guy in Connor Bedard, original 6 franchise, championship background. That's what they say. Major market. 0 long-term contracts, which is huge. The Bruins have plenty of those. The Blackhawks don't. Then they have also got Pittsburgh. Those last 3 are kind of the same reasons. Vegas, who's always big game hunting. The Rangers at number 3. Doubt it. When you're paying a goalie $12 million, you're going to pay Connor McDavid $15 million. Toronto, number 2, hometown kid. And number 1, they have the Edmonton Oilers as to re-sign him. Like, I'm just going to warn you guys right now, don't get your hopes up. He's going to re-sign with the Oilers. But if he doesn't, can the Bruins make a move? They could. They could because of this reason. And again, it kind of contradicts what I just said about not going after big-time free agents. But I'll say this. I wouldn't mind if the Bruins kind of put their chips in on the free agent class next year. Because the guy I think they should go and get, which I think is more likely, although still a top-tier player, I would spend $14 million a year on Jack Eichel at this point. Jack Eichel is going to be a UFA in 2026. And if the Bruins just say, hey, we're putting our chips in that basket, I'm okay with that. Hometown kid, probably a top 10 player in the league right now. The last 2 seasons, he's been unbelievable. He's a full 200-foot game, 3-zone, spine of your team kind of center. And it does look less likely for him to re-sign with Vegas than it does for McDavid to re-sign with the Oilers. Again, he's still a big commodity, and I imagine Vegas will put a ton of capital into that. But I think he's more likely to hit the market in 2026. So if the Bruins are going to be able to make a push for Jack Eichel, I guess in theory, then yes, they could make a push for Connor McDavid. But if we're talking about saving us or putting out a $14 or $15 million contract, as much as I'd love to do it for Mitch Marner, I still would. I'd probably rather wait a year and do it for Jack Eichel and all that comes with that. And by the way, he'll be 30 when that comes around. McDavid will be 29, so still 29, still in his prime. And so will Eichel, I think, at age 30. But I wouldn't, if we're going to break the bank for somebody, I would do it for Jack Eichel next year in a heartbeat. I would do it for Connor McDavid too. I'm just saying, like, let's not get our hopes up. They basically say the Bruins are players for Connor McDavid because they're an original six franchise that used to win. I'll give you one more anecdote for this. I'll give you one thing that could help the Connor McDavid sweepstakes here. That's not necessarily the case for the first couple on that list, Edmonton and Toronto. Boston is a great hockey town, but the Bruins are nowhere near number one in this market. It's unfortunate. I want them to be sometimes. But if you're a guy like Connor McDavid, who is still a big star, everyone in Boston knows who he is, ask Patrice Bergeron, ask Zdeno Chara, ask, Tuukka Rask. Not of the ilk of Connor McDavid, sure, but you can live under the radar, so to speak. You won't be as big a figure in that city as Drake May is, for example, or, what Rafi Devers was, or what Jason Tatum is. You can have all the benefits of living in a great hockey town and playing for a proud, historic organization and be able to sometimes go out in public, which you can't do in Edmonton, right? It's probably like the Beatles, can't leave your hotel room. Taylor Swift can't leave her hotel room. You could do that in Boston. And Boston has embraced hockey icons before. Like, if you look at the history of this city, it's some combination of Tom Brady, Ted Williams, and Bobby Orr. Like, those are the biggest in the history of this, biggest icons in the history of this city. So you can still stand out, but you can live a little bit more under the radar than you would in Toronto specifically, or Edmonton. You wouldn't have that kind of pressure cooker that comes with those Canadian cities, but you get, a hockey hungry town that does hopefully want to compete for championships. So maybe that's the saving grace. Maybe that's the silver lining. Come to Boston, you can leave your hotel room, and it will still mean a lot if you win the cup there versus winning it in Florida, say. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you give any shot to the Bruins throwing out a legitimate offer for Connor McDavid next year? Let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to like and subscribe. It helps us on the path towards 4,000 subscribers. We are well on our way. This channel's been bumping the last couple of weeks, thanks to you guys. We're here live on YouTube every weekday, high noon Eastern time, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. So check out the other videos on the channel, talking the Bruins and everything else going on in Boston sports. I'm your host, Cam Stuart. Zach Burke keeps us on the air. We will see you tomorrow on a little ditty that we like to call The Cam Show.